Good evening, fight fans. We are doing another live alternative commentary here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. Tonight, our fight is on DAZN. It features, in the main event, Demetrius Andrade versus Luke Keeler. This puts the undefeated middleweight star Demetrius Andrade, who is 28-0 with 17 KOs. He will be defending his WBO World Middleweight Championship against Luke Keeler, who's at 17-2-1 with 5 KOs. As I said, this comes to you live from the Meridian Island Gardens in Miami on DAZN and Sky Sports in the UK. The fighters have just entered the ring, and we are nearly underway. Earlier in the evening, there were 3 fights that led off this card. We had Tevin Farmer defending his IBF World Super Featherweight title against Jojo Diaz, and Unified World Super Bantamweight champion Daniel Roman defending his titles against Murodjon Akhmadaliev. And then, of course, there was... and also Jake Logan was there. Meh.
Wow, wait, did you just say Jake Logan?
Or sorry, Jake Paul. Whatever. Shut up.
I mean, in fairness, they're both still... It's still 2 first names, but...
It's late. We just got done doing a 2.5-hour podcast, which you can check out in the archives. We reviewed The Witcher tonight. All right, so Demetrius Andrade versus Luke Keeler. Joining me to call this fight tonight, provide alternative commentary, is the legendary Robert Winfree, stepping in for John War tonight. We want to thank him for that. Thank you very much, sir. It's certainly greatly appreciated.
We'll see about that.
So I had asked you before the fight if you knew anything about these guys, and you really didn't. So no analysis here, no real expectations, just we're going to watch this fight and see what happens. But presumably, the guy with the perfect record and the belt, I would imagine this is somewhat of a showcase fight for him with Irishman Luke Keeler. Kind of show.
Well, I mean, his opponent's not a bad fighter by record. He's 17-2.
Yeah.
So he's not a pushover. He's clearly earned his shot at the title, but he's probably one of these mandatory challengers that, for the sake of the organization, has done enough to say, hey, I got next, but is very clearly not, a giant attraction in and of himself.
Well, again, this is a Thursday night show on DAZN. I have to imagine this is one of those opportunities to get Demetrius Andrade's name out there further in the public. He's certainly got a lot of belts here.
Okay, how does he pronounce his last name? Because I've seen that same spelling pronounced 3 different ways depending on...
I've at least said it 2 different ways. I've said Andrade and Andrade.
Because I know in Portuguese, especially Brazilian Portuguese, that would be pronounced Andrade. If we're going with Spanish, it's Andrade. There's a lot of ways to pronounce that sequence of letters.
I think we should go with Andrade. How's that?
Andrade?
Andrade.
Okay, like Andre.
Sure.
With the D at the end.
Yep, Andrade.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yep. And if we're pronouncing his name wrong, such is life. All right, here we go. We are ready to start. I was listening to a podcast earlier, one of the Fightful Boxing podcasts, and they were talking about how people are fans of promotion. So, you're a fan of PBC or a fan of Top Rank or a fan of Matchroom, who's putting this one on tonight on Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, okay, so to continue your point...
No, I need to tell people why I just Jesus Christ. So I don't even know what guy got thrown there. I was too busy talking about this thing as we were settling down to a 12-round fight. I think Andrade threw one punch and Luke Keeler went flying backwards.
He landed a good left that dropped him backwards. That was a good punch.
Keeler got right back up again. He took a standing 8 count. They clashed.
He should have been. Okay, that's not a knockdown there. He pushed him down.
Yeah. The
Good call by the ref.
The second time they set the squabble and Andrade pushed him down. Lots of fast flying fists here. And Andrade's just backing up Luke Keeler into the ropes, delivers a shot to the body. This guy's not even circling.
Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely going to say Luke was a mandatory. He is not moving well. And oh geez, poor Andrade. He's trying to fight this guy, and Keeler almost ran away there. And you can't hit someone when their back's turned to you.
Yeah. The ref had to get between them. Keeler, to his benefit, hasn't been knocked out yet, and he's definitely been hit with some pretty sturdy punches. He's starting to actually fight back against Andrade now. Because for a while there, Andrade was just stalking. And Luke Keeler looked like he was trying to dive out of the ring. Now they're starting to settle down. Now this is starting to look like a boxing match again.
Yeah, that straight left of Andrade, he doesn't want to get to show it all the time, but that's been his money punch so far. He's landed it a few times. Anyway, you were saying about people being fans of promoters or promotions?
Yes. And I remember even John asked me about that. He was like, "Oh, do you have a favorite promotion?" And I'm like, "I don't know, the one that puts on the heavyweights." I don't. Why would people be fan? I guess to me they're like Top Rank or Matchroom or whatever. They're not like the WWE or AEW. Luke Keeler with a nice left backs up Andrade. Andrade fires back, delivers a couple and kind of a half a clinch there, and they break apart.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. The whole, I'm a fan of this promotion. I think what you tend to have more are people who have a group of fighters that they're fans of, and then they're just going to gravitate towards the promotion that has the majority of those fighters.
I mean, that's like wrestling, I guess, but I didn't think boxing totally worked that way, but I guess it does. I guess you sign fighters with exclusive contracts.
It's going that way more now. Like, for a while the structure was just a little bit different, but now that HBO is out of the boxing business, and you've got different platforms, anyone signed exclusively to DAZN is actually a little bit on the outside looking in. It's part of the reason that you're not going to see.
Jesus Christ! Again, round 2 beginning the same. Oh no, was that a replay of round 1?
It looks like a replay.
Okay. Yeah, there's the right, and then boom with the left, caught him flush right on the nose, and Luke Keeler went flying backwards.
Anyway, point being, anyone on DAZN is actually on the outside looking in for a lot of stuff. It's part of the reason you're never going to see Anthony Joshua fight either Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury.
Which is a crying shame, because heavyweight really needs to work out a good, solid super champion.
It wouldn't help anything.
All right, we are firmly beginning round 2 here. Andrade delivers a straight right. Luke Keeler tries to fire back with a series of punches. So I'm not loving either one's defense in this fight. They both look like they're just out to swing leather, get some attention on themselves, and have not really boxed defensively at all. And so you're seeing a lot. I mean, it's fun. I'm enjoying it from purely a tough man point of view, but I'm not seeing a lot of high level professional boxing here.
Andrade has the rudimentary the fundamentals of head movement, whereas Keeler does not, and I think that's going to wind up making the difference. Not ruled a knockdown there.
No, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I can see it not being a knockdown, but put it this way: I think you could rule that one either way, and no one gets to cry about it.
I'm starting to question Keeler's chin here.
I'm questioning on Andrade's right hand. Every time he swings his left, he drops his right hand to his waist. He is wide open to be countered. Oh, we get the headlock. Oh no, headlock takeover. Boo, sir, boo. Commit Commit to your judo.
Keeler using the clinch there to do some dirty boxing, and good on him. Because I don't think he wants to stand toe-to-toe with this guy. I think he has to, and I say this a lot about a lot of fights, but I think if he wants to survive here and not have this guy, Andrade's clearly got a good right hand. We've already seen that, but
Left.
But I think if he wants to survive this fight, he's got to make sure that he's got to not give him the space to load up on those punches.
Because load up he is. He is loading up on everything.
Well, somebody told him, get Keeler out of there in the first couple of rounds here.
The old Jack Dempsey ploy, eh? I bet your whole purse on a first-round knockout. Guess what you got to do?
Hey, speaking of knockouts. Ugh.
On occasion, I get things timed properly.
Yeah, that was very well timed. Wow, he didn't get counted out there. I thought Keeler took a big punch, got knocked on his ass, looked like he was on Queer Street, and actually got up to beat the count. I figured the ref was going to stop it.
I think if the ref turns around 2 seconds earlier than he does, he probably does just wave it off, but he was getting Andrade into a neutral corner. And because if he sees, really the way that Keeler falls there, he probably does, because he was stiff.
I was going to say, speaking of Jack Dempsey.
Stand over the guy and punch him in the head.
The long count. So that's 2 10-8 rounds for Andrade. This is not looking good for Keeler.
Not at all. For the record, if you guys haven't been listening to the Heavyweight Boxing History series that Mark is doing, it's definitely worth your time. The era they have coming up is a really interesting one. They're going to be following the Heavyweight Championship as it moves from Ezzard Charles to Jersey Joe Walcott to Rocky Marciano, and they're going to spend a fair bit of time on Rocky in particular. But this is a really kind of interesting era in heavyweight history, given how depleted the division was after, World War II and the Spanish flu.
Andrade just laid in that left-hand punch, clipped him on the jaw, and down he went. But to his credit, he beat the count.
Yeah, he's kind of lucky the ropes were there, because if he lands in open space and falls back flat like that, the ref probably does just wave it off.
Yeah.
Like, nope, you're out. Then the guy gets up and complains, but we can all see that, no, you were out when you fell. Like, you don't fall like that if you're conscious.
So, and at least he still has his lips, unlike Overeem.
Have you seen the photos of him post-surgery?
No.
Like it never happened.
Good for him. My God, medical science. Round 3.
That man also has just like gobs of scar tissue.
Andrade is just swinging for the fences. He is lobbing those hooks out there. He does not take Luke Keeler's power or ability seriously at all.
Yeah, that he has very real disdain for anything coming back his way. He is loading up. He's swinging from the hip. He's not minding his defense very much. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Like, all right, fine. I've had my fun. Let's go away now.
Well, it is 12:30 in Miami, a.m.
Yeah, well, it is Miami. And yeah, I kind of get why the UFC has the time structure that they do.
Well, sure, half of their fights are in Vegas, which is 3 hours behind.
Yeah, Vegas is on Pacific time. And they care a lot about the West Coast audience, but if you're streaming on DAZN, this seems like a very odd choice.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a consideration for the Irish.
Maybe.
Like, is this just some early? No, it's not even early. Like, it wouldn't even be like really early morning in. Because I think the time difference between the East Coast and Ireland or the UK is 5 hours.
So Andrade in this round, still successful, but not knock him on his ass successful as he was in the previous 2 rounds. Doing a lot of backing up into the ropes. I think he seems to be employing a kind of wait for Keeler to engage and then catch him on the rebound.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's doing at the moment, it looks like, and it might be successful, especially if he doesn't want to just punch himself out throwing his left hand that way. I mean, the man might throw his shoulder out before he gets a knockout.
Round 3, clear round for Andrade, just, again, not as successful or violent as the first 2 rounds. So apparently he his phrase is, "Luke, I am your father." I don't know if you saw that at all.
Okay.
That's why he was wearing the Darth Vader mask, get it?
Sure. I mean, I wish I could say that was the cringiest thing on this card, but the fight before this. I mean, yeah, that's a stupid. I'm going to say it's stupid, but you do what you can.
I don't know what SNAC stands for. There's the whatever.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Shirt.
I got nothing.
This just in from Bad Left Hook. I really don't mean to kick a guy who's doing his best while he's being predictably dominated, but this fight never should have been signed. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, you don't want to kick a guy who's out there trying to do his best, but at the moment, this does not appear to be a competitive fight.
No.
I mean, and bear in mind, when I say competitive, it's not that Keeler hasn't landed a punch. He's landed some punches, but who cares? Because the guy he's punching certainly doesn't.
No. The guy he's punching gives no fucks what this guy does in the ring. And is just trying to knock him out.
And, I mean, it's not like he's even landing all that cleanly. Andrade's footwork and defense may not be great, if we're judging on the appropriate levels, but it's enough to avoid the vast majority of what Keeler's throwing at him. And now he's going to go full bull in the china shop here. Okay. Just pressing forward, swinging punches.
Keeps backing him into the ropes.
Yeah, but then, unfortunately, he doesn't do anything with it.
No, but I would like to think that, at some point Keeler should stop backing into the ropes. Try sidestepping. Try circling.
You'd like to think. That is certainly a thing that someone contending for a, world title should be capable of doing.
I mean, I don't know.
Proper ring craft.
I'm no boxing genius, but he doesn't know how to circle? He is literally walking on a line. Straight. He moves straight up, and then he walks straight back. And up and back, and up and back.
He's always finding himself on the ropes because Andrade is at least peripherally aware of his position in the ring, so he's very good about circling so that his opponent is the one closer to the ropes anytime they find themselves in kind of the reversed position. And Keeler trying to make it ugly a little bit now, but not having much success. I mean, he's trying, God bless him, but he's not doing much. On the Yoda spectrum of trying, he is currently doing not.
Keeler tries to sneaks in there and goes to the body. I'm not a fan of the one punch to the body thing, and I've seen that a lot lately in various fights.
It depends on the punch. Some of it depends on how you have a read on your opponent. Especially opposite stance fighters, you're going to get it a lot more, just because that's the punching lane that's clearer, and you're more likely to land that than you are that same punch to the head.
I mean, sure, jabbing to the body it certainly has its function and its purpose, but excuse me, I prefer to see a shot to the body come at the the end of a combination. Put it in as part of a mix-up. You go to the body after you've maybe gone to the head. The one jab to the body. If you're playing the long game and you're trying to soften somebody up, sure. But this guy's not winning this thing on the scorecards. Ever.
Not at this point.
I mean, he'd have to have such a rally.
Yeah, because at this point, he'd need at least 2 10-8s. And to win, the majority of the other rounds anyway.
Some odd reason they're referring to Andrade as Boo Boo on Twitter.
That left hand went to the throat, actually, we see on replay. Just under the chin, glanced off the chest, up into the neck.
You don't get to see too much throat punching in boxing.
I'm not sure it's legal. I mean, that clearly was not his intent. He was aiming it at a legal target.
Well, shit happens when you're fighting.
Yeah, and, most people keep their chins tucked, and it's of more benefit to hit someone in the chin than the neck anyway.
No, Keeler's doing a great job of sticking his head straight up.
Yeah. He's kind of inviting it.
The red circles on his Adam's apple don't help.
I want to make a joke about extreme cupping now, but okay, I won't. Ooh.
They are brawling in the corner against the ropes.
Andrade keeps smothering his own follow-up punches half the time against this guy.
Yeah, I don't love Andrade continually fighting him in the clinch, because that's Keeler's game. Keeler,
even if it's not Keeler's bread and butter, Keeler has demonstrated zero chance of winning this fight outside of, infighting like this. Even if Andrade has a good chance of winning infighting, that's Keeler's only chance of winning, so why give it to him?
Yeah. Andrade, I think, might have the reach advantage on him, too. I didn't get a chance to look at the tail of the tape. But it certainly seems that way. So use your reach.
Yeah, he's just over swinging every time he kind of really goes in for the left and winds up. Half the time he winds up stepping through into orthodox stance and then just winding up in the clinch up because of it. That's a pretty decent right from Keeler there, actually.
Yeah, Keeler, as the fight has gone on, we're seeing less from Andrade and a little bit more from Keeler. Keeler's not willing to give this fight away. I mean, his only hope is for a late knockout, but still. I'd actually like to see Keeler get in close, go to the body from the clinch. Maybe try to break a rib or two.
Yeah. That's certainly that's kind of where my head would be. And now we have Andrade changing up his stance and his fighting posture. He's still swinging that left to the body, and it's still landing.
Not a bad jab from Keeler.
Neither of them has a bad jab. It's just, the jab's efficacy against an opposite stance fighter is always a little bit iffy.
So
probably another round for Andrade, but much closer.
Yeah, I was going to say, so far he's sweeping on the cards, but that was probably Keeler's best round.
Yeah.
We have a fun Thursday night card here. We're bringing you the main event for Saturday. John War is back. We'll be doing Ugas versus Dallas Jr. That'll be fun. We would have been doing the Victor Postal fight, but coronavirus, rather. So that fight got canceled since it was supposed to be in China with the Chinese Chinaman.
Do I have to say it, Mark?
Dice rules.
You're a racist.
Well, then so is Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay is a character. You're a person.
I'm a character. I'm such a character.
No, you might have a fair bit of character, but you are not a character.
I'm such a card.
Yeah, sure. What's the most useless one? The 2 of diamonds.
Thanks, Dick.
You can't say I'm a card and not expect me to go, okay, hang on, what's the lowest scoring card in hearts?
So, Keeler starting to pour it on here against Andrade. Andrade, before we got into making fun of me, I was going to say, started a little more pensive in this round, a little tentative than he had been. It's that they're going in opposite directions here than where they started.
Yeah, he's... I don't know if he maybe expected this to be over already, but he definitely might, he could just be taking a few rounds off. Like, all right, this guy's not going to really hurt me, but I got to get my wind back.
So big left from Andrade backed him up, but didn't knock him on his ass this time, and I think that was certainly the intention. I think Andrade found early success with his lefts at the start of the fight, and it was like, okay, he's getting knocked down, but he's getting back up. So maybe the thought was, what is he doing? What is that stance? What is going on?
There's
that's half I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame and half I'm your boogeyman.
Not a reference I expected to have made, but okay, yeah. It's weird because the more wildly Andrade swings, the less successful he is, but he's going to the wild stuff very often. And Keeler, moving forward, we see the same problem with his footwork, following, not cutting off the ring.
Andrade's messing with him now.
Yeah. He's just amusing himself.
Yeah.
And for a guy who took off, the first minute and a half or so of the round, he's come alive again at the end and has landed a few good lefts.
Did you see that left that he threw and then stumbled?
Yes.
Please box, sir. You have a belt. Several, from near as I can tell.
Yeah, well, now we know both how he got them and how little they mean.
Okay, Luke Keeler just dove into home plate.
And he's safe. And you decide, yeah, you're the one who insisted we do this.
Yep. And I stand by my decision.
All right, to our, dozens of viewers, listeners.
Or
I know
1 million subscribers to this network. Haven't seen the stats.
I am being generous by saying dozens, I know. If you guys are enjoying this particular brand of alternate commentary / watch along that is only released after the fact, feel free to tweet Mark and let him know how much you enjoy what he does.
Yes, I'm at Mark Radulich, MarkRadulich on Twitter.
And if you really want to, what was it I said? You should fill up your Twitter with pictures of. I'll think of something for next time. I just want your Twitter feed from our 5 listeners to just be spammed with pictures of sushi or something. I'll come up with something.
So according to Mannix, we've got 6 rounds all going to Andrade.
Yeah, the only one that was kind of close was 5. I mean, the last round, Keeler had good portions of it, but even those were a bit iffy, and the most definitive round moments of the round and the hardest punches were clearly landed by Andrade.
Well, I have to say, I don't love the overswinging with the left and then stumbling. You're a professional boxer at a high level. You're main eventing a card on DAZN. Please,
you're main eventing a Thursday card that's starting after midnight Eastern. No one cares.
No, you be a professional. Box correctly.
I'd almost rather he just committed to that step and just swung through into orthodox. I'd have more respect for that than just throwing yourself off balance.
So explain to me the idea behind where he paused with his right and kind of leans a little hunched over and utterly drops his left. Though I think he just tried to punch Keeler in the nuts. The Ben Rothwell school of punching.
Let's not talk about Ben Rothwell, please.
I told you, just listen to that today.
Oh, God, I hate Rothwell. The kind of generalized thought between his body posture here is he's presenting a low target. It's hard to find an angle to really hit him. He's almost completely side on.
Well, I mean, why not kind of come forward with your jab and then with a right uppercut? Seems like he's asking for it.
Oh, you mean why is he choosing to throw the particular punches in combination that he is?
No, I mean, like, the way that he's doing it, I would have thought Keeler would then try to come forward with a jab and then take advantage of the fact that he's not protecting his body or his face with his left.
A lot of that has to do with, again, the orthodox versus southpaw matchup. Your jab against an opposite stance fighter is just a less successful tool on balance. And Keeler doesn't really have the punching power to really punish Andrade for what he's doing with his hands and his defense. Keeping your hands low like that does theoretically present you more angles to throw up punches from that can kind of catch your opponent off guard. You're presenting, a lower profile and a smaller target to make contact with to begin with. And if your reflexes are up to snuff, then you can move very easily away from the majority of blows coming at you and then counter. The fact that Keeler doesn't really seem to have an answer for what he's offering him in this case is much more troubling.
This just in from Fight Ghost on Twitter. Andrade's seriously going to go 12 with Keeler? Come on, bro. Come on. Sibbyboxing.org. Andrade, I need you to end this right now. NBT
Okay.
Boxing. Andrade is very skilled, but not even against guys well below his level does he know how to set up his attack to get a stoppage win and gain some buzz. He either outboxes them with his superior skill or he telegraphs his attack.
And perhaps the cherry on top, for those of you who are not familiar with Grabaka Hitman on Twitter, this man watches everything. This man will tell you the rundown of a Muay Thai card going on at 2:30 in the morning Eastern time from China, not from China, but from Bangkok, and can tell you about the top 4 or 5 participants. This man watches everything. And his response to that last 7th round was, not sure I can justify watching the rest of this.
Isu Cody on Twitter. Well, we are seeing Andrade isn't anywhere near as good as his extended fight deal would suggest. Will get eaten alive by bigger boys in division.
Yeah, I should qualify that. If he fights like this, he would. Which, again, that's not to say that elements of his performance aren't a deliberate reaction to the person he's in there with.
Good shot to the body. Good right. That may or may not have completely connected with the sternum. But Keeler is hanging in there. I mean, he's taken this to 8 rounds so far, despite the 2 knockdowns.
Yeah, the fact that Andrade couldn't get him out in those first 2 rounds seems to have kind of broken his elements of his game plan. I don't think he was really prepared for the potential reality of this fight going 12 rounds. So now he's just doing stuff that he thinks is going to work. And, to his credit, he is still winning.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's dominated this fight. I mean, at this point, he's won the fight on the scorecards. There's no way Keeler either has to knock him out or it's over.
But this is not the kind of performance that's going to inspire the masses to rally behind you and turn you into a bigger deal in the sport than you already are.
Well, the other side of that is if you sign exclusively with DAZN, DAZN puts on fights nearly every weekend somewhere in the world. So, and these cards need co-main events and, you know, and openers and whatnot. So he could get a lot of work just finding himself on not the main event of a DAZN card.
That will be his nickname going forward.
Not the main event.
Not the main event. Not after this performance.
Oh, nice down punch there from Keeler.
Keeler's inability to kind of get his uppercut going against a guy who's bent over or hunched as much as Andrade is, he's not even showing it, which is more like you don't want to be. I get that you don't want to be overly predictable, and an uppercut's always a risky punch, but he should have at least tried it a couple of times by now against Andrade, given Andrade's posture.
See Edward Williams on Twitter. At this point, I'm rooting for Luke Keeler to KO Boo Boo Andrade. It's the only outcome that would make this fight worthwhile. Ugh.
That is a fair point.
Starting to lose interest at this point, and then somebody put up a Simon Cowell gif.
Yeah, well, you know, not wrong.
They shoot Cody again. Anyone told Boo Boo it's a per fight deal, not pay per round? Demetrius Andrade has more dreadlocks than Luke Keeler has landed punches. Yeah,
No, I don't think that's accurate. The sentiment is funny, but I do not believe it to be a technically accurate statement.
No, I would agree with you.
Aren't I just the best? I take all the fun out of this.
Andrade content to just kind of coast to victory here. I mean, he's in there, he's punching, but not really committing to anything.
Like we said, he's clearly won the fight at this point, and he really wants to avoid that potential banana peel, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not even sure what would be, because Keeler hasn't demonstrated tremendous power. So, again, I'm not sure where the banana peel would come from a tactical standpoint.
Did Andrade just try to give him the finger through the glove?
Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. It's probably the best way to say that. He might have.
All right. Jab. Follows up with a combination. Goes right over Keeler's head.
Yeah.
Andrade just kind of throwing arm punches now.
Well, you know, he's off balance less at least, but there's so much less power in those. Yeah, this guy is, if he was hoping for a big performance to kind of maybe turn himself into a star, this is most certainly not that.
I think Keeler's starting to go down. Andrade just delivered 2 to the chin and he stumbled backwards. He looked a little "where are my pants?" And Andrade, I don't see he's fighting back though. Andrade's trying to press. You know, he's definitely seeing blood in the water. This guy's going down fast. But Keeler, to his credit, he's still throwing punches. He's taking a lot of punches, but he's definitely throwing them.
There's something to be said for that. You know, he's given the ref an excuse to let the fight continue.
Sure. No, God bless him. He's taking those punches. He's getting the shit beat out of him, but he's taking them. You know, and he's trying to give a few back.
Yeah. And
he's also very fond of the headlock, I've noticed.
Andrade's finishing instinct is not that good. He's really not necessarily making the most intelligent decisions.
Well, okay. He beat on him enough to where the ref said, at this point, Keeler's done. There's no reason for this fight to continue, for you to continue to get punishment. This isn't changing anytime soon.
He got there by volume more than by efficacy at that point. He's not choosing he's not choosing good punches. He's just kind of throwing.
Right, and that's and I think he pushed the referee to kind of come in and save Keeler, because I don't think Keeler was done necessarily, not in his mind at least. Normally, I think between you and John and the various cards we've covered, the last couple where there was a stoppage, I feel like I was able to. I was on the. I think I made the arguments in favor of the fight continuing or whatever, but in this one, Keeler still wanted to keep fighting. Whether or not he should have kept fighting is a whole other argument, but he definitely wanted to keep fighting. What was happening was Andrade was throwing so much, and Keeler wasn't responding enough to where the ref was like, okay, this isn't going to get any better at this point, and he stepped in and saved him. I mean, this could have theoretically gone to the 12th round, but what would have changed?
Well, and if you look at that final sequence, the way he kind of stumbles into the ropes, the way he does, like, it just doesn't present a good visual. You've already been dropped twice earlier. You were visibly tagged earlier in this round. You've stopped throwing back the way that I kind of want you to throw back. Let's just kind of call it a day. Yeah.
You know what? As I watched the replay again, Andrade sort of pounded him into the ref. The ref kind of had to sidestep, get out of the way real quick, and I think that's when the ref was like, I better stop this before we see a murdering. So your winner by knockout, or technical knockout rather, Demetrius Andrade, your WBO middleweight champion. Fantastic. Well worth our time.
I most certainly feel that I have been edified and my life is richer for this experience.
Absolutely. All right, folks. That's
See,
all.
The difference between Mark and I is I was sarcastic.
No post-fight interview. I think we're done here. Go ahead and tune in for what will hopefully be a better fight this Saturday night between Ugas and Dallas Jr. Myself and John War will be there. And hey, if you're into the MMA, Rob will be doing written coverage over on 411mania.com for
247.
Oh, that's right. You don't have anything this Saturday.
This Saturday I have a Saturday off. I will be sure to waste it appropriately.
Absolutely. I'm not even
next Saturday. Next Saturday on the 8th, I will have UFC 247. So yeah, that's my usual hangout. I'm kind of a combat sports junkie of, most varieties. So I watch a lot of stuff.
So if you enjoyed this, and really, why wouldn't you have? Go back and check out John War and I covering the most recent Vladimir Shishkin fight. We did a couple on DAZN earlier this year that I think are still on this feed. And there'll be more to come. And we'll definitely all be covering Wilder versus Fury 2. So keep tuning in for that boxing coverage because there's more to come. And check out our series on the history of the heavyweight championship in boxing. Our next chapter being Rocky Marciano. Yes, sir.
What do you bet Fury Wilder 2 falls apart?
Shut up.
Semi-serious question here.
Oh, no.
Like, what do you bet that thing falls apart?
What, you think one of them gets injured?
Something like that. Or Tyson Fury goes off the deep end again. I mean, look, I say this with a deep respect and admiration for Fury as someone who, in my life, still struggles with various mental health challenges. What he's been able to do and, kind of get back on the horse and overcome that stuff is inspirational and remarkable. But he's made some changes, including having a new trainer now, that...
Here's what I'll tell you. I think they make it to the ring. I think the fight happens. If anything's going to go off the rail, it's going to happen after the fight, maybe even shortly after. I know during the first Joshua Ruiz fight, we were talking about. I mean, nothing really ever came of that. I think the official story is Joshua had a plan going into the Ruiz fight, and Ruiz found his way inside, and he just couldn't recover from Andy Ruiz's power, and Ruiz wasn't nearly as fat at the time.
He was. Well, I maintain Joshua was on something. And I think he's come out and said also, yeah, there was stuff in my personal life. Yeah, I like drugs.
That was certainly our contention, but nothing has been said or proven.
Look, 10 more years when he retires and he writes some memoirs. And yeah, man, I was coked out of my mind the night before.
I did so much horse. All right. That being the case, I think, we'll see what ends up happening with Deontay. I'll tell you what, though, if
no, I have something better.
Okay.
What do you bet Deontay Wilder gets disqualified for biting?
Stop it.
Serious? No. Serious question.
Oh my God! Final punch stats: 146 landed to 34.
That Dreads comment might be more accurate than I thought. If that's all they're giving him credit for.
Power punches: 129 to 25. Yeesh.
Yeah, this was
landed,
not
by the way. Thrown was 260 to 193.
This was not a competitive fight.
You don't say.
Just in case we hadn't made that clear.
Jesus Christ. All right, folks. Again, this has been the Radulich Broadcasting Network Alternative Commentary. I want to thank Robert Winfree. We'll see us this Saturday. Myself and John War for Ugas versus Dallas Jr. on Fox Sports 1. Until then, be well, be safe, and behave.